Madam President, thank you. I would ask unanimous consent the Senate proceed to the consideration of Senate Resolution 474 submitted earlier today.
Clerk will report.
Senate Resolution 474 to authorize representation by the Senate Legal Counsel in the case of Martin F. McMahon versus Senator Ted Cruz et al.
Is there objection to proceeding to the measure? Without objection.
Madam President, I then ask for unanimous consent that the resolution be agreed to, the preamble be agreed to, and that the motion to reconsider be considered made and laid upon the table with no intervening action or debate.
Is there objection? Without objection.
Madam President.
Senator from Kansas.
Madam President, I ask unanimous consent that the Senate proceed to the immediate consideration of Senate Resolution 3201 introduced earlier today.
The clerk will report.
S3201, a bill to extend the temporary scheduling order for fentanyl-related substances and for other purposes.
Is there objection to proceeding to the measure? Without objection.
Then I would ask unanimous consent that the bill be considered read a third time and passed, and that the motion to reconsider be considered made and laid upon the table.
Without objection.
Madam President.
Senator from Kansas.
I finally ask unanimous consent that the Committee on Veterans Affairs be discharged from further consideration of S3084 and that the Senate proceed to its immediate consideration.
The clerk will report.
S3084, a bill to amend Title 38 United States Code to modify the limitation on pay for certain high-level employees and officers of the Department of Veterans Affairs.
Is there objection to proceeding to the measure? Without objection.
Then, Madam President, I would ask...
It is discharged and Senate will proceed.
Thank you. I then would ask, Madam President, that unanimous consent be granted, that the bill be considered read a third time and passed, and the motion to reconsider be considered made and laid upon the table.
Without objection.
And finally, Madam President, I would ask unanimous consent that the Committee on Judiciary be discharged from further consideration of H.R. 886 and that the Senate proceed to its immediate consideration.
The clerk will report.
H.R. 886, an act to direct the Attorney General to establish and carry out a veteran treatment court program.
Is there objection to proceeding to the measure? Without objection, the committee is discharged, and we will proceed to the measure.
Thank you, Madam President. I ask now unanimous consent that the McSally Amendment at the desk be agreed to, and that the bill as amended be considered read a third time and passed, and that the motions to reconsider be considered made and laid upon the table.
Without objection.